Hi and welcome once again. This is Ansel and this is my tutorial on Group Policy Objects or GPO. What is GPO? According to Wikipedia, GPO controls the working environment of user accounts and computer accounts. It provides centralized management and configuration of operating systems, applications, and users' settings in the Active Directory environment. So essentially, GPO allows for security by assigning the user groups, restricting access to, for example, the control panel, USB, or even your C drive. Alright, it restricts users to functions that are applicable to their job. And in other words, if it is that they don't have the rights, you can't do certain things. That's the long and short of it. So to demonstrate how this is done, we have our Windows 2008 server and we have our client, the 2008 domain controller, and we have our client also Windows 2008. So firstly, we will go to our domain controller and let me sign on and password. We'll go to Start, Administrative Tools, and Group Policy Management. You would have your forest with your domain name. Within that, you have domains, which also defaults down to your domain itself. You want to right click on your domain and we are going to new organizational unit, and we're going to give this the name of your organizational unit. So this is going to be the name of the unit that you have different users. You could have multiple, one, as the case may be. We're going to call this level 1 and say okay. So in your domain, you have level 1 being created. Under Group Policy Objects, we're going to right click, like New, and this is your actual policy object which you're going to use to restrict the users in the network or whichever group that they were created under, to restrict them to whatever different aspects. So I'm going to change this to basic. We expand this, we're going to see the name basic showing up here. So we would have done two things here. You have the name of your group policy object, basic, and you have your organizational group, level 1. Under the group policy object, basic itself, let's go back. I'm going to right click on this, edit, under users and configurations, preferences, policies, administrative template, all settings, and within here you have your list of all aspects possible that you can restrict, take away, add, what level, what rights you would like your users that form part of this policy that are within your group that will be restricted to. Let's just sort this and go down. as you can see, it basically expands to a lot. In this instance, I'm going to, as a test, remove the task manager option. Let me just double click on this. You have remove task manager, the properties. It's not configured, so you're going to enable it, which would set this as one of the restrictions or the policies. Click apply and say OK. And there you go. Under our group policy, we have remove task manager. Now we have to go back and link the organizational unit that was created, which was level 1, to the group policy object. So you have level 1 and you have a group policy object. So you right click on your organizational unit. You're going to link to an existing G.P.O, and we have the basic, which was listed under your group policy object. Click on it and say OK. So under level 1, you now have your basic, which was tied in to your policies, which was to remove your access to task manager. Now we go into Active Directory. Start Administrative Tools, Users and Computers. We have our number of users. We have our organizational unit, level 1. We're now going to put the different user or users into that organizational unit. Once they're in that particular organizational unit, you would now be limited to whatever group policy that is within that. Okay, to continue, you would want to add the user now to that particular policy object which falls under the organizational unit. So, having gone into users, you select your user. In this case, I'm using John Doe. You right click, move, and you're actually going to move that user to the organizational unit. But before I do that, just to prove that it works, I would log on as the user, John Doe, and right click, and you have task manager. You can make some changes. My computer, something else, administrative tools, computer management, services, and so on. So let's close this off. Log off the user. Go back. And we're going to put the user under level 1, again our organizational unit, and say OK. So you notice the user has moved, but if we go into level 1, the user is now under that organizational unit, which forms part of the G.P.O of restricting with the task manager. So let's log back on to the user. But logging back on John Doe. Right click on taskbar, and as you see, task manager is now grayed out. So effectively, the user John Doe is now restricted for the profile or the access to task manager. And this would explain when you have restrictions to, as I said, like your C drive, your DVD drive, USB ports, and so on. It all falls under G.P.O. And that concludes my presentation on this particular topic. So stay tuned until our next session.